Hey, good evening, boys and girls. This is Black Powder Bill, and changed the name of the state I live in. I now live in New Yorkistan. Actually, if I did live in one of the Stan countries, I'd probably have like an RPG and a Jeep with some type of machine gun mounted to it. And I didn't really need explosives, but here we are. We can pretty much thank the former Secretary of HUD, who didn't want anybody to have a gun in those buildings. He never wanted anybody to have a gun. We can thank President Obama, whose mentor was Bill Ayers, the terrorist and bomber who felt he didn't do enough, kill enough people or blow enough up to really get his message across. Yeah, but he's a professor. Why isn't that son of a bitch in jail forever? Anyway, I just want to say that I am a director with Shooters Committee on Political Education here in New York. We're a grassroots Second Amendment association. We only watch bills and fight legislation here in New York. We knew this was coming, and we worked night and day. The directors did, and some of our members did, night and day for weeks to try to head this off. We knew something was going to happen after the first of the year. Pretty much what I'm looking at now is back in 1985, the New York legislature tried to pass a bunch of erroneous bills, pretty much like they did this time. They just, threw a big turd up on the wall, and they actually, this time they threw so many turds on the wall, they all stuck. Well, that's because they ran it through. I'm no lawyer or anything like this, but I know some of the things that are in this new law that Cuomo pushed on us and that the New York State Legislature pushed on us. And, I also want to mention those Republicans that up until late afternoon said, hey, we're on your side. We really like working with you. You know what? In my opinion, not my association's opinion, in my opinion, you will never work with us again. I don't want to talk to you. That's how I'm looking at it. And as soon as we have a board meeting here, I'm sure we're going to have some kind of emergency board meeting, or at least a teleconference. That motion will probably come up. Because I'm sorry, this turncoat crap just isn't getting it anymore. If you go to www.scopeny.org, we try to update our page sometimes several times a day with information about the bill, getting things fretted out. There are lawyers in looking at some of this stuff in New York. One fella from Buffalo already wants names for a class action suit. We're actually not directly involved with him. We have some other people that we've worked with over the years. And I want people to remember that Governor Pataki, another Republican, threw out his 5-point plan on us. And there were a lot of us that fought it really hard, and there were some sportsmen and firearms owners that didn't. And what I'm looking at is right now there's absolutely no room to compromise on this stuff. Sportsmen, as I used to say years ago, have compromised themselves right out of their own sport, right out of their own business, right out of everything. Sportsmen need to stand up this time and say not only no, but hell no. None of this stuff is going to fly. As a small firearms dealer myself, dealing just in long arms, not handguns, I find it extremely hard. I have no idea how I would do the paperwork for ammunition sales. I mean, and then the state threw this thing out, I can charge $10 for a background check. I'm sorry, $10 won't even pay my time to do this. I mean, even with the sale of ammunition, and I have no idea what the price of ammunition is going to cost. My wife, who's down in Georgia, she listens to this American Family Radio, and the only thing they've talked about is this firearms ban. The one that President Obama put out and what's happened up here in New York. I told my wife, I says, you need to get a hold of some people down there, and they either need to call me for an interview, this radio station does, they need to get out and tell your legislatures, and I mean show up on their doorstep in the county. You need to go to your town and county meetings, and you need to tell your sheriff, this crap ain't going to fly. Period. You swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. You swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of the state you live in. And you need to uphold those oaths. None of this, well, I'm just doing my job. And hey, here, I want to come kick your door in and take all your ammunition or your firearms, or I want to check to see what you have. Well, I agree with you, but I'm just doing my job. No, people. There becomes a point in time where saying, I'm just doing my job because my boss said so. If your boss is wrong, you need to tell him he's wrong. And if he wants to retaliate against you, then I suggest you and like-minded people get together and you run against them and run them out of office. Plain and simple. Make their life miserable at every meeting. Make these people swear that they're going to uphold the Constitution of the United States in their state. We can't have this anymore. If you have a state that is not firearms friendly, and there's a corporation in that state that is making firearms, that corporation needs to pack up and move to a state that is more firearms friendly. Other topics that need to be discussed. If you buy a newspaper or you have cable TV, you need to cancel it today. And you need to tell them, I am not going to support your biased, lying media any longer. If you have a business and you're taking ads out in a newspaper, you need to cancel your ads to these big Gannett newspapers. All right? I'm not talking about your little hometown newspaper where the guy you went to high school with and he's on your side, okay? We don't want to bury that man. We want to bury Gannett News. We want to bury Time Warner. I know you got an internet connection, and we have to have the internet connection. So we got to give them a little money there. We're not going to escape that one. But you need to cancel everything you can to these big papers. You don't have to take an ad out with these papers. If you go into your car dealer and somebody says, well, walk out. If you have a friend of yours, a brother, father, mother, sister, I don't care who they are. If they go, well, you look at them and you go, no, I don't know. You pick yourself up, the wife and the kids, and you walk out the door. And when they ask why, say, you know what? I'm tired of the well, Well, all right? And what makes it worse is you people that voted for these politicians. If I find out that somebody at my gun club voted for one of these people that voted for this bill and this crap and this firearms ban, I'm going to bring you up on bylaws violation and I'm going to have you removed from the club. In fact, I might just have your gate card canceled and not even tell you why. You need to get to www.scopeny.org. You need to make a donation on the PayPal button, and it needs to be at least a box of cartridges. And not the price of that box of cartridges you bought in 1969 either, okay? Today's prices. And you need to give us some money so we can get our lawyer, once he gets all this stuff fretted out, so we can get the lawyer on top of this and start to file lawsuits. I want everybody out there that's a lawyer that owns a gun, that thinks this is incorrect and wrong, I want you to get down to your courthouse and I want you to file a lawsuit saying, I don't care what it says, unconstitutional, ex post facto, it violates the Commerce Clause. Tie every court you can up in a lawsuit. Town court, county court, state court, district court, tie them up. If there's 1,000 lawsuits out there in one state, we know once they get to a higher level, they're going to tie them all together. It'll be one big one. Tie them up. The talk, it has to stop. All right? All these people that are out there that went nuts buying all these firearms, you should have been down at your town hall. You should have been at your state capitol. You should have been driving around the street. You should have got there at 4 o'clock in the morning and taken every parking lot, every parking spot on the street. You should have filled the entire parking lots up. Even though some of them people got passes and they can get in, you should have filled up the entire lot. But, when you can only get 2, 3, or 4,000 sportsmen together for a sportsman's rally in Albany, New York, or you can only get a handful of guys at a meeting for the last 20 or 30 years, what do you expect? The last couple of scope meetings, county meetings that have happened in New York, they're packed. They're getting 60 and 70 people in. You do not have to be a member of Shooters Committee on Political Education in New York to attend the meeting. However, once you show up at the meeting, we'd kind of like you to join. $20 to join. Even if you don't want to join, throw some money in the pot. All right? We'd really appreciate it. This is a very big battle coming on, people. This is not a joke. These people put every piece of crap legislation they could into a package, voted on it, and it was printed at 11 p.m. at night, and they voted on it 22 minutes later. Every person in your district that voted yes for that, every one of your representatives and state senators that voted yes on this stuff, with this 22 minutes thing, that has to be unconstitutional somewhere. Has to be. The people did not get a chance to voice opinion on this, and the lawmakers that were against it did not get a chance to voice opinion on it and discuss it and argue it out like it should have been. Governor Cuomo needs to be removed from office. President Obama needs to be removed from office. Eric Holder needs to be in prison for trafficking firearms across an international border. That's all I have to say. I'm going to say it again. If you have a friend or somebody that goes, well, you know, registration is so bad, they need not to be your friend anymore, because those people are bringing you down. This is Black Powder Bill out. You can find me at www.blackpowderbill.com. Give me a shout. Y'all take care.